Hi, good morning to you all. I'm Dr. Ashok Itagi, Head Department of Fashion and Apparel Design, Oxford College of Science, Bangalore. Welcome you all for the knowledge series on digital entrepreneurship. I welcome our first speaker, Mr. Abhinav, for the webinar. Before I introduce you, our speaker, I would like to share with you what our principal, Dr. Kaveshri Madam, has to say about webinar and her words of encouragement. Can you can you play the video, Mr. Abhinav?
Series on organized by the Department of Fashion and Apparel Design. The massive growth of e-commerce platforms has made the retailers dependent on the stores for their business that created the obstacles for the retailers to get involved in online retail, like dependable internet access and digital literacy, are now being very well addressed. In the digital and telecom sectors, has provided a dependable internet access in everyone's pocket, allowing the continuous connectivity for people in all population centers around the nation, whether it is urban or rural area, whether it is a Tier 1 city or a Tier 2. The survey reveals that the internet users in India increased from 500 million in the year 2018 to approximately 630 million by the end of 2019. And much of this growth was propelled by the rural users, which actually grew by the rate of around 35% at that time period. In line with this improved connectivity, the digital literacy has also grown by leaps and bounds. Online platforms now operate in different languages too, so even that barrier is being addressed, ensuring that all services are easily accessible. So online presence not only increases this geographical reach, the customer base also expands exponentially, and not only that, even there will be reduction of cost, especially it reduces initial startup costs, so one can start the businesses with minimal funds. Of course, the digital literacy is must and it is also being addressed, and now many of people and hence because of this it is becoming more and more popular, and we can see many success stories in this line. Today a local vendor or a seller in who sells the Banaras city style Banaras can now sell the sarees online at Amazon. And this way he can also crossing all the local borders to all over the nation, and he can sell his products all over the nation.
We are dying.
A lady is selling her own brand in the garage with only 30 or 40 garments, is now selling the garments with more than 3,000 styles in each pack. So with a wider variety of options and convenience of sitting at home and doing the shopping, more and more customers are also choosing to buy the products online. And especially in a current situation like a pandemic situation, it becomes much more easier to do online shopping than going to the store and getting into the risk of developing viral disease and things like that. So this online is really increasing exponentially. But all said and done, there is one question that really comes to our mind is, can fashion be sold online? Well, because it is no doubt, it is becoming more and more popular and all that, but still this question is there, is that perhaps can be sold online. Because as I understand that fashion is something that one has to experience. Fashion is something that one has to see. Fashion is something that one has to feel. Fashion is something that one has to experience, try, and understand. So this can happen only in the store because all the fashion trends that are coming in may not suit everybody. So one has to try and see whether that fashion suits you or not. One has to feel the texture. So with all these things, whether this fashion can really be sold online. Then it's just question. So I am sure by the end of this webinar sessions, we will be able to get an answer for this question. And before I conclude, I would like to extend a very hearty welcome to our guest speakers, and I congratulate the Department of Fashion and Apparel Design for having organized this webinar. And I wish each one of you an enriching experience throughout.
Friends, the program today is a race between software engineers trying to build bigger and better idiot-proof programs and the universe trying to produce bigger and bigger idiots. So far, the universe is winning. As part of the textile and fashion virtual world, I profoundly thank our speaker, Mr. Abhinav Srivastava, who is an authority on web-based fashion indulgence. He has made a name for himself in this area in whole of South India. He has done engineering in textiles and postgraduate program in fashion management from NIFT Bangalore. He has, he has an experience of over 18 years in development of retail value chain for textile and apparel industries. Worked with various brands like Lifestyle, Arvind, Indian Terrain, Ron, Megamart, Bata, etc. Social enterprises like Nissan and Whirlpool. He is an expert in branding, product development, and PLM. I also thank our beloved principal, Dr. Kaveshri Madam, for having extended her encouragement for web series. And rightly, as rightly pointed out by her, will virtuality take over the marketplace? And can we have garments delivered to us after we choose and give measurements right from our home? Friends, I'm sure the knowledge series will bring to the table all these answers to your questions and a $1 million question. Will the carbon-based managers will be replaced by a silicon manager? Mr. Abhinav, the audience is all yours.
Thank you, sir, for those kind words. So before we begin, just a humble request that whoever is not speaking, kindly please mute your microphones so that there's no disturbance there. We are going to, if you have any queries pertaining to the entire webinar, you can please type in the chat window and you can share. So the team here is going to be recording those and we will try to answer them towards the end of the session. Right. So thanks a lot. Thanks, Edgi sir, for those kind words. And we'll just start on the session. Right. So basically what we're trying to discuss here today is understand, what basically is a digital entrepreneur and how do you set up an e-commerce business? It is a very wide topic and it requires, multiple sessions, etc. So some of the places where we run this kind of program runs into months. So we're just trying to give you an overview. Right. Kindly please mute your microphones. Yeah, thank you. Right. So we're just trying to give you an overview and understand the opportunity which is being presented by the e-commerce today. And you can understand the basic nuts and bolts of the setting up a basic e-commerce platform. So before we get into that, I think when we floated the program, a lot of people asked, what is a digipreneur and what is a digital entrepreneur. Today, I think gone are the days when people who are coming out of people who are people who are coming out of the colleges immediately want to get into a job. Of course, everybody wants to see how we can start something of our own, start pursuing our dreams, and at the same time give empowerment to the others as well, and create employment, right? So the focus today, even from the government side, is on promoting entrepreneurship, and being in Bangalore, you can understand, it's now called the startup capital of India. So there are a lot of startups who are trying to do multiple things. Now, primarily, any business which you can do digitally is what will qualify for you to become a digital entrepreneur. Now, it can be whether selling placement services, or selling a basic product, or selling some value-added products like a fashion apparel. It encompasses everything. However, what is very critical is for you to understand two aspects: that before you get into any business, you should understand the entire supply chain and the value chain of that business. And second thing is, your delivery methodology in this case, when you're coming onto the digital platform, is only changing. Your customer expectations are still the same. So in no way you should ever try to cut a corner in terms of customer service. So that's just a brief on being a digital entrepreneur. Of course, our conversation today is majorly going to be about fashion and fashion related commerce, specifically with respect to online business. Now, sometime back we heard the college principal talking about how the internet penetration is scaling up, right? And how the technology is becoming all the more prominent. So I just have before we get into that, I just want to show this particular slide to all of you, and just take you back and make you understand that how we have come here. So if you recall, I don't know if you have actually read, some of you have been exposed to history. So, the initial communication was mainly into by noises and hoots and all those things. And then slowly mankind discovered writing, and then we started writing. Paper was invented in China. And that's how we started talking. And then the scientists invented telegraph. So, and then we moved on to different stages. So over a period of time, if you've seen, the need for human beings to communicate is paramount. And what is happening is, with the technological inventions, the technical inventions which have been happening across the decades, it has had direct impact on how we communicate. So if you see how, I mean, I'm not too sure how many of you remember Telegram, but then when we were smaller, and that's not too far away in history. So there were some, urgent news which we would communicate using Telegram, and which is basically a kind of electronic communication, right? So over a period of time, I mean, today when I talk to my kids, and if I tell them about Telegram, or if I tell them about, forget Telegram, even if I tell them about telephone, the typical one where you can, you had a dial and you could ring number, they will not recognize that, right? So it has, of course, changed, and it has changed at a very fast pace, right? So all of you will agree with me that over the past decades, or let's say the past 6 7 years, India itself has seen a huge amount of change in terms of how we communicate. So right from if you guys recall, we used to send text messages or SMSs. This is way back in 2001, 2002, and then slowly came the MMS, right, which we used to struggle with. We need a GPRS connection. and then later we had GPS connection, and then the sending messages was much more easier. We had different communication app, and then there was an era of communication itself changing. So we started communicating using more of images, right? So today also we have memes and different kind of jokes which we pass on. And now the next level which we are experiencing now is the video, right? So imagine right now we are sitting here. Of course, the situation is demanding, but then here we are sitting where we could have had, a physical interaction. We are sitting here and discussing things over computer, right? And it is all video conferencing. So the way we communicate is drastically changing, and it is all driven by technology. So at the same time, this change in technology is also having an impact on the way we do business, right? So I'm not too sure how many of you actually are part of some Facebook groups or some WhatsApp groups where you will see some designs are coming, some apparels are being shown, and people are trying to do a sale. So that's a very informal way of selling. Now, of course, today I think everybody has Paytm, everybody has Myntra, Jio apps installed on their phones, right? So that is another way to sell. So the change in communication is driven by the technology, and of course it has also impacted how we do business, right? So right, so Elisa, you have any queries here?
Yes. See, Abhinav, we have shifted to mass media events from postcard, vision to internet. You say that all this change has affected businesses and the profitability or anything like that. Can you just say some more things about it, Abhinav?
Yeah, sure. So as you rightly mentioned, communication has been a key to all the commerce. Now, whether it was pre-industrial age or post-industrial stage when World War had ended, communication in business is very important. Not only to communicate between businesses or communicate with your vendors, but most importantly to communicate with your customers and potential customers. Right? So, as and when the technology made interventions and inroads into how we communicate, the businesses, how they reach out to their consumer also got impacted, right? So just to give you an example, when I was small, I remember we had one Doordarshan, and then on Doordarshan there'll be a couple of movies playing, and in between we'll have some state-sponsored ad. I'm sure all of you who are in the same, let's say the 90s kids, as we say it, you will remember seeing those Nirma ads and Amul ads, etc., etc. But now today at my home, I don't have a cable TV connection. So all I have is a Netflix and a YouTube and Amazon or a Hotstar, right? And I get advertisements in that, right? So people are trying to reach me through these mediums. So if you see, communication for the same medium, which is a visual medium, itself has changed, and that is how the businesses are changing to reach out to the customers. Right. So yes, so just to answer your question, research. So that is how things have panned out. Right? Okay. So we just move ahead and we just look at some of the statistics in terms of how things have been shaping up. All right. So we spoke about the communication part. So I will not just go so much back into the history of how what communications were, but we just talk about the current times. So if you recall, so 80s and 90s is when we were basically on phones and pagers, and then slowly we got into the emails. Of course, India missed the whole pager revolution, right? So India had a small instance of pages coming in, but then we didn't get into it deep. We moved on to mobiles directly. Of course, the other world was onto pages for some time. So if you watch some old English movies, you'll see that pages are pretty prominent there. And then we came into the in 2000, early 2000s, 3G started coming in. By the end of the decade, 2010, we were already talking about cloud and online gaming, and where a lot of data was being spoken about and discussed. And then today, right, we are already discussing 5G connectivity. We're already talking about online AR and VR. So I'm not too sure how many of you seen Lenskart website. So there is an application which you can run from their platform itself, where you can scan your face and it'll suggest certain spectacle frames to you, right? So how is that possible? Because of the increased speeds, right? So, and if you know, if you actually look at the way we are connected, so approximately by the end of 2020, we'll have 4 billion people connected by internet. That's a huge number, and that also presents a lot of opportunity in terms of revenue. Okay, so today, on an average, anybody who has a smartphone, and I think almost everybody is carrying a smartphone. People who are above the BPL level, right? So, and on an average, we'll have at least 200 to 500 apps on our phone. So that is the opportunity which mobility, internet presence today. Okay, and then on the top of that, we have got layers of embedded technology. Like just now, I spoke about the AR/VR part, which about Lenskart, right? So, and there's a huge amount of data interchange which is happening. So, this is an opportunity which we have to, look at. I think over a period of time, digital is going to be in all the businesses which you're talking about. It doesn't mean that the old business models will collapse overnight. There'll be a lot of coexistence which will be there for some time. But of course, for the old business models, they need to stay relevant. So they'll have to adopt technologies to stay relevant. Otherwise, they'll face extinction. I mean, that is how traditionally it has been. So businesses are brutal. So if you don't adapt, you'll collapse. Right? So that's just certain facts about technology which I want to bring in showcase. So what's happening with India? So if you see, these are certain stats, which is basically, this is a survey which is done by Cisco, and I've just reproduced it here. It's called a VNI report. You guys can go and Google it yourself and check it out. So if you see in India, the average internet speeds have increased. Okay, the number of devices people have increased, right? The kind of data transactions we do per capita, that has increased. So what does it indicate? It indicates that the way we are communicating, the way we are consuming information is all through the internet. Now it may be on a mobile device, it may be on a laptop, it may be on an internet, right? So why not bring my business also online? Okay. Why not, if I have to become an entrepreneur, why don't I become a digital entrepreneur? So that is the idea. And just a few stats with respect to how the commerce is panning out. So this is some data points from eMarketer. This is of course this was done. The survey was done almost 4 years back, but then it just shows the potential which is there, and by 2020 we'll be at 47 USD billions worth of e-commerce business in India itself. And of course, as you see, as you expand in any segment, any product category, your growth rate comes down because your bases are small. But I also like to point out, of course, 2020 has not ended as yet. We are yet to see the exact numbers coming in. But then if you have seen and if you have read, and of course, the current times which we're living in, uh, the way businesses are moving online is unprecedented. Because of COVID-19, because of this entire pandemic, people are forced to move their businesses online, and consumption, of course, for the businesses have increased. So we do a lot of e-commerce stuff, and just an example, we had one of the clients which we work with. They have an e-commerce brand, and their businesses for the last 3 months, ever since these online portals started the businesses again. So they are trading almost 5 times of what they used to do earlier. So we're not talking about percentage growth. We're talking about 500% growth. Right? So that's the kind of opportunity which is presented in the online space. Right? So, okay, so just a little bit of more stats. So I was just talking about the data consumption. So one thing, again, which is a welcome change is the cost of data has reduced. So I don't know if you guys know, we always keep comparing ourselves to, foreign countries, and we say, ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai, we don't have this, we don't have that. But do you guys know that India has one of the lowest data cost in the world? So moment you move, most of our data cost is, fixed to if we have a postpaid plan, so it is all a package. So data cost as such, overall in India has been reducing, and today it is the lowest in the country. The highest is for UK, right? So because the data cost is low, so of course the consumption is bound to increase.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah,
The, you know,
I just have.
the stat about the web suggests that people are turning to net for anything from anything to everything. This mean web-based facilities would be highly profitable, Mr. Abhinav. Can you just elaborate?
Yes, of course. So, just to add on to what I was just saying, Edgi sir, and then I'll just take your question and answer about that as well. So, as you can see, the internet users in the country is expected to reach about 600 millions by 2020. Okay, and that's an awesome and a big number we're looking at. Now, what's happening is businesses when they launch, of course, no business will be will start giving you revenues from day one. I mean, I'll keep it very plain, simple, and brutally honest. Businesses don't yield returns from day one. So of course, when you're setting up businesses, you'll have to uh, make some provisions to mitigate that time frame when you're not doing any business, but at the same time expenses will keep on happening. But overall, the cost of setting up an e-commerce business is much cheaper compared to an offline business. So the cost of retail, as we say it, is not there in e-commerce. It's much more cheaper. So you're just setting a web store which is basically on a platform like, let's say, a Shopify, or maybe you don't even do that. You just say, okay, fine, I've got my products ready. I don't need to sell it on Myntra or Amazon, and you just go ahead and launch on that. So yes, of course, the recurring cost factor is considerably lower than an offline business. However, as I mentioned earlier, which we'll discuss also in some time, you need to be very clear about what you're getting into uh, and understand the entire supply chain, value chain for that particular product line. Okay. Right. So I'll just move on to the next slide. Okay. So this is where we'll start discussing about how we set up a e-commerce business. Sir, you want to take a break now, or can we just quickly look at the some few of the basic things, and then we'll take a break thereafter? Is that fine? Okay. Right. So I've just put together, certain process flow as to how you can set up your business. So before that, I just want to put across that one of the most critical thing is that you should first of all decide what product or what service basically I'm looking at selling. Now, there are going to be multiple aspects to it. You can get into something which is a very niche product category, or it can be something which is very popular, right? So for example, let's say you get into selling handkerchiefs, right? So it's a very niche product category. You'll not find a lot of players. But then whatever you do with your product, or you can get into something which is very popular, let's say a t-shirts or a printed t-shirts, right? But whatever you do, just make sure that you understand the entire value chain. So when I say value chain, I mean how the margins are playing there, and the supply chain, that how the goods will flow in, what is the kind of transaction times which will be needed. So for example, if you make a t-shirt, so how much time to knit the fabric, and then how much time to dye the fabric, and then finally how much time to stitch it, and and then work around that. So these are two aspects which I say you should consider, and then only you look at getting into the business. Now, once you decide, okay, fine. Once you've decided on your product category, once you've decided on, once you've understood your uh, the value chain and the entire model, that is when you can take a call whether you're going to sell it directly through your platform, or you want to sell it through partner portals like Myntra, Amazon, Ajio, these kind of platforms, right? So our conversation is mostly going to be how you build up your own platform. So we're just going to take a break now. I think it's a 10 minutes break or 5 minutes break, and then we'll come back on a Zoom call, and then we'll discuss rest of the things. So stay tuned, because we're getting into a very meaty part of the entire business process. Yeah, thank you.